Hey, good morning, traders. Let's do our end of the week analysis for the Bitcoin. Today is Friday, April 15th. I have a few more positive signs that I am both seeing and also want to discuss with you. Let's jump into the chart. So the first thing is I wanted to talk about a bit about the historical precedents of Bitcoin price action after tax day here in the US. All right, so we know that Monday, April 18th, here in the US, is the final day for filing your taxes. All right, so a lot of us got hit with a huge capital gains bill, myself included. I was not, to be honest with you, preparing like I should have been for this tax bill, and I really don't even know how I'm going to pay it. Yeah, I could pull my profits out of the crypto market, but I obviously don't want to do that because those funds are being used to leverage my profits, and I definitely don't want to take from those profits at this point. So I guess I'm going to have to figure that out. Anyways, let's take a look at tax days in the past and our price action the months preceding that tax day and the months preceding. All right. So we can go all the way back on this chart. Let's just go to the 2019. All right, where am I here? 2020. All right, so tax day and in 2019 was, I think it was April 15th or somewhere around the mid-April in 2019. But let's just take a look at this price action before and moving up to tax day and compare it to what we have today. All right, so you can see that the market starts to sell off at the end of the year, and it sells off big. And I think what's happening is people are taking profits to pay their capital gains taxes, to pay the tax man. All right, and we go all the way up to the tax deadline. And actually in this chart, it's represented that we started to move up just shortly before the tax deadline. But we can go from here. Let me zoom out a little bit. Our price was around 4,000 in April of 2019. And then we started to take off, all right? Yes, I'm going to do 2019, 2020, and we're just going to do some measurements here. I don't want to drag this video out. Let's just go from the low of December. All right. Then we have our tax day somewhere around here, and let's go to the high. All right. So this is kind of what happens. I've noticed this is what the pattern is. So in this case, we went up. Bitcoin went up almost 350%. All right. So then we know that the price is following kind of a logarithmic pattern, which I don't have mapped here. But as the price gets higher and higher, there's going to be less and less volatility. 2020 was kind of the same deal. We had our tax day in mid-April. So then I'm going to go from mid-April to our high, which is actually mid-April in 2021. Well, why don't we see more of a sell-off here like we did in the past? Well, that's because we had a coronavirus, right, in 2020. And what did the IRS and the Fed do is they moved the tax day here in the U.S. out until, oh man, when was it? June, I believe. So we went all the way from April, where people don't have to pay their taxes, all the way till June. And you can see we, and maybe it was May, because that's where we had our big drop off. Let's do another measurement again from our low of 4,000 to our high here of 65,000. And we had an increase of 1,500%. Is that right? 4,000. Yeah, I guess that is right. Dang, brah. All right. So the market was allowed to move up, only up, because they didn't have to pay the tax man until May or June, excuse me, because I can't remember that deadline. And then shortly before taxes were due again, it was in May or June, look at this big sell-off. We dropped again. All right, that's people taking profits so they can pay their capital gains taxes. All right, and then we had another, once the tax day was come and gone, the market starts to move up again. And now let's measure from here to here. And we had about 135% gains at that level. All right. And so then now we've had our, and I'll get to this in just a second. Move that up. And then we had our sell-off again as people are taking their profits from all of these gains to pay their taxes. All right, so what I am saying is if this pattern continues in a few days/weeks, we should start to see the markets build up again. Now, I know in my last video and post, I mentioned that there were a lot of bearish indicators, and there still are, but I'm finding more and more bullish indicators as we go. And I mentioned in the last video that this could be potentially a bear flag. So far, the bears have not taken us down to test that yearly support, that ascending line that I have been talking about incessantly since January. Now we've hit that, what did I say the last video was 17 times on the daily, and I said I don't want to hit it again because I feel like going down there and testing again could be bad. It could be very bad, and we could break our support this time. And, you can see that we did break it several times, but we never confirmed on the daily. So you need that confirmation to go bearish. And so I never went short on any of this because we turned around, came back up, and popped above it again on the daily. So I have remained long this whole time, as long as we are on the top side of this black ascending trend line. And yeah, my portfolio in terms of US dollars has shrunk, but in terms of the amount of Bitcoin I can buy, it has gone up massively. All right, and that's really what we want to measure our portfolio value against. The dollar is junk now. The dollar is not something you want to risk putting your money in. Wealthy people do not save US dollars. They never have, and they never will, because inflation is factored into those dollars. And every fiat currency since the beginning of existence is designed, since the beginning of paper currency existence, is designed to fail. And that's what we have going on here. This is not accidental, this inflationary aspect that we're seeing. No, we're just near the end of this economy. The pyramid scheme that the Federal Reserve is being exposed, I guess. And at a certain point, every pyramid will fail, right? The people at the bottom are the ones that get punished. And just like any pyramid scheme, what happens is the poorest of the population gets absolutely ravaged with high prices at the pump, the grocery store. I mean, we haven't seen anything yet, really. This is just the beginning of the collapse of the US dollar. And I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. This is just reality. It is what it is, right? So you have to prepare for that. And that's why I'm such a huge believer in crypto, because it takes all of that scam out of the internal system. All right. Yeah, there's lots of scammers in crypto. Those are small people to deal with. All right. And if you're smart, you can avoid the scammers. And even if you're not smart, you can avoid the scammers. But when corruption comes from the inside, that's not something you can control, especially when that corrupt system, in this case, our banking system, has the monopoly on violence, because then they can force the people to only use that corrupt system of currency. And crypto is different from that because there is not this high prevalence of corruption within a system, and nobody is being forced to use crypto. You use it if you want to use it. You use it for convenience. You use it for anonymity. You use it because it's fast. And you use it because it's rare, so it maintains its value. Those are all the choices that people make to use crypto. We don't have a choice to use the US dollar. And unfortunately, the whole world, because the US has deemed itself the police of the world for whatever arrogant reason that they have come up with, is dependent on the US dollar. So we are, this next recession that we're getting into is not just going to be a US recession. It's going to be a global recession. And again, I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. It's just you always prepare for the worst and you always hope for the best. And I hope for the best. I hope we can make this transition, this currency transition here quickly and as smooth as possible onto the rails of blockchain. And I truly believe that this is something that has the potential to save the world from absolute devastation and disaster. And that's just the way I see it. That's how much value I place on cryptocurrency. So I went off on another one of my little rants there. Apologize, took up some time, but all that to say, Bitcoin is in good shape here in terms of patterns and precedents from the past after tax day. All right, now let's look at a few more positive indicators. Now, I consider this positive. It could be negative if fear is high and all those bots are set to trigger. This is a graph of exchange supply, and it is falling fast. Now, when your exchange supply falls that rapidly, liquidity is very low on the exchanges. What that means is you have high volatility. It could be great in terms of upward movement if enough buyers are looking to buy, which I think will happen after tax day here in the US. It could be bad if people are trying to exit their positions in Bitcoin and they can't because there's no buyers. So low liquidity equals high volatility. And I want you to be aware of that. Now, in this case, I think it's going to be a good thing, and I think we will rocket up fast. But really, this right here is about as low as I've ever seen exchange supply be. And this is the data taken from Glassnode. All right, enough on that. Other positive indicators. Well, I just read on Twitter that the third largest wallet bought 624 more Bitcoin. So what is the third largest wallet? Let me just open up another tab here. We'll take a look at that. I'm going to go to Airtable. Now, I'm trusting this data, but I don't know that it's absolutely reliable. We have the third largest wallet here is Block 1. And if I go to the source, all right, that's Peter Thiel's company, it looks like, Block 1. All right, so they bought 624 more Bitcoin, which I don't believe has been added or updated here just yet. But when whales and big money is buying Bitcoin, that can only be a good sign. All right. And finally, what I like about this retracement here, I'm going to zoom in here and move over, is that this follows a patent 80% retracement. All right. So from this level right here, let's do Fibonacci. All right. Up to our high, we have our Fibonacci levels. All right, so you can see right now we're sitting on 0.786. Now, all right, I'm going to delete this. So 786 is where this candle, this green candle right here, is sitting. The body low is sitting on that 0.786. This level that I have drawn here at 39,300. We touched that exactly on the 11th and on the 12th and bounced. That represents 80%. That's the 80% retracement that I'm talking about. All right, so that is patent in crypto. We know these 80% retracements happen often. Another bullish sign, because if we don't go below that 39,300 level and we'll test our yearly support, which I don't want to happen, to me, I view that as extremely bullish. And I'm hoping that this pattern right here doesn't play out as a bear flag. And in fact, it's looking like it's not going to. Because, you know, at first we had 2 green candles, then we had a red candle, and I was like, oh, we're going to go test that yearly support again. But the bulls have turned this today. And we didn't actually even get down on this red candle. We didn't get down to that 39,300. If we test that level again, that could break and take us down to our yearly support. At this point, it's looking like that might not happen. So keep your fingers crossed on that. All right. So those are basically the 4 new bullish signs that I wanted to discuss with you today. And honestly, I'm quite positive with price action here today. I was a little bit more negative on Wednesday because we came below our 0.618 retracement, but we ended up doing an 80% retracement, which is another patent technical analysis drawback. And we have bounced from there and have not come down and test that 80% level again. And also, we have not tested our yearly support. So that's very bullish in my opinion. Okay, so concluding, it's important that you do stay cautious and watch this price action closely. You know, all hinges on Bitcoin. So right now, I have probably about 30% of my trade portfolio is in stable coins right now, just because I don't know if we're going to come back down and test that support or not. But if we do, I get a good deal. Otherwise, I'll wait for confirmation above that 40,800 level that I have on this chart here. The market is still a little bit indecisive, but I think we're all waiting for tax day to pass. All right. And then once tax day passes, we may come down again and just touch that either that 39,300 or possibly even that yearly support. But if we look at precedents in the past 3 years, every time we got past that tax day, the market started to move up. So let's hope that that precedence follows, and we'll see bullish price action here again soon. All right, until the next video, guys, take care and peace.